Why do I look so greasy? It looks like I had like highlight or like eyeshadow on right there, but I don't. I don't understand how to use my lights. Hi, I don't know how to use these lights as I haven't for the past 2 years, so excuse that. Hello, it is Steph. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a story time about how I got played by a guy twice and how my friends exposed him for being a player. I have screenshots, I have voice recordings, I got it all right here. Obviously, I'm going to be respecting people's privacy. I'm not going to be revealing names or anything. I'm going to be doing some editing so you don't hear the person's actual voice. Because even when somebody does something really crappy to you, I still have that respect for them, and I'm not just gonna expose them like that. I mean, I'm gonna expose them, but not directly, you know what I mean? Okay, so we start with this story in August of 2020, so this is almost a year ago. I have been dying to tell this story. I thought it would make really good YouTube content, but obviously, I was still getting over it. I just wanted to make sure that nothing else went on before I filmed a video, of course. So because I knew I was going to be moving, I was going through a bunch of my old stuff, and I found this box that I have. I call it like my special box, and I just have like random memories and stuff in there. And in it, I have yearbooks from only preschool and kindergarten, because after that I did online school. I thought it would be fun to look up the people from my preschool and kindergarten class on social media just to see, how they've changed, how old they are now. And you see, I had a boyfriend in kindergarten, so I tried to find his account. And all that came up was this account that had 0 posts. The profile picture was like this cat meme, I'm pretty sure. It was something like that. So I decided, why don't I just message this kid and see if it actually is him? Because obviously he was like my boyfriend. So he was the one who I was the most curious about, like to see who had like changed and what they're doing now. So we just kind of talked and caught up on life and stuff. So then I told him what my Snapchat was, because it's like, oh, it's easier to talk on there. Now he's like the reason why I hate Snapchat. And why I deleted it. And obviously at this point, like, I didn't even know what the kid looked like. Or did he? Oh yeah, so this is the funny part. So I mentioned how I was like going on other people's like Instagrams and stuff, and I was like, yeah, it's like crazy to see how everybody's like changed, how much older they look now. So this picture he sent me, he said, oh yeah, that was from my ex's Snapchat story. And it was a picture of him, and the date on it was only like 4 or 5 days before we were having this conversation, and it had like the lock with the key. So I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. This is your ex. Like, when did you guys break up? You weren't even together for a full week. So I had him on my Snapchat for a few days, and we just like messaged back and forth just about like what we were doing now and stuff, obviously no feelings, no nothing. And then I don't know how this happened, but it was at night, and we started sending videos of each other just talking because we were just saying too much to type. So for like, I swear, it was like 3 hours, maybe more, I don't know. We were just sending videos back and forth. And he was like being like kind of flirty with me. I didn't know what to do, so I was basically just like flirting back with him. I'd never like tried to flirt with somebody before. If you know me, that's very unlike me. But it was also 1 a.m., so I was really tired and I don't know what was going through my mind, and that's what was happening. So then he suggested that I FaceTime him, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea, but it was like 2, 3 a.m. And I was like, no, I have to do this in the morning. I forgot what I had to do, but I had to get up at like, oh yeah, that's right, I was in school, I forgot. He was still on his summer break and I was in school. So I was like, no, I gotta get up at like 8 or like 9 o'clock tomorrow. Like I can't. Anyhow, we ended that conversation, and I don't know what happened after that. My opinion on him changed. And that's probably where he like caught feelings, unfortunately. Big mistake on my part. Looking back on it now, I'm like, how was I so stupid? Like, me less than a year ago. So we made a plan to FaceTime that night, the next day. And all day I was thinking about it. Just seems so weird just thinking back on it now. What was going through my head? Also, at that point in my life, like last summer was one of my best summers ever. It was one of my absolute favorites. I felt like such a main character, and I was like, you know what? I don't care if I'm single forever. Like, I really enjoyed just being myself and who I was. And I mean, obviously I still had like my ups and downs, but I have not been at that high point since then. Just being honest here. So I don't think I realized that I was like catching feelings because I had not liked anybody since middle school. So it's the beginning of my senior year of high school, and I have not liked somebody since 8th grade. So when you think about it, of course I would be confused and not understand my feelings and why I was, you know, getting so excited and acting the way I did, because I didn't even remember what it was like to have a crush on somebody. So like an hour-ish before a FaceTime call, he sends me a video and he goes, "Hey, I just wanted your advice on something. My toxic ex wants to get back together and I don't know what I should do," when he like explained the situation. So I sent him videos back and I was like, "Listen, you literally just said she's toxic, like it's not worth it." And then at that moment, I just felt like my heart just sank and I was like, oh no. So then he calls me and he goes, "Hey, I need to go take a shower now and then I'll call you back, but I may or may have not gotten back together with her. Bye." And I was like, uh-oh, okay, bye. Like, talk to you soon. So then when he called me back, he explained that, yeah, they got back together. He's like, "Well, maybe it'll work this time." And I'm just like, yeah. And I was so nervous on this call. I was like shaking. And then here's a really instant red flag that I should have, you know, paid more attention to right away. So we were talking about Helen Keller and like Anne Frank. He was telling me how he thought that Helen Keller was Anne Frank, or like the other way around or something. I don't know. And then he said, "Yeah, Anne Frank is kind of hot." I was like, that was such a weird comment. I was like, you know what's weird? I'm like, some people have told me that I look like Anne Frank, which I don't understand. I don't see it. I'm not, was she Jewish? Like, I'm not any of her like ethnicities or anything. So I don't know why people have said that. But, and then he like looked up a picture of her and he was like, "Yeah, you really do look like Anne Frank." And I was like, wow, that sounded like you just called me hot. He goes, "I might have." And I was like, "You have a girlfriend?" And he's like, "It's not like she's gonna find out." If this is how this man was acting when he had a girlfriend, why would I want to be his girlfriend? That's what I'm thinking right now. But right then, I just wanted him to like me, and I had never had anybody like me back. So I was really just pushing it. Like, obviously, when I said, "Did you just call me hot?" Like, it was just a complete joke. I wasn't expecting him to respond in the way that he did. So anyhow, that was that. About a week went by, and at this point of the story, I'm going to be mentioning some more like PG-13 topics. I mean, they're not really that bad. I didn't do anything like that, if that's what you're thinking. No. But this stuff does come up as I'm telling the story. So if you're like a small child, just this is not for you, I guess. Like the week after, I think this is when. I forgot to say this when I was filming because I'm stupid, but we had told each other that we liked each other, and then this whole next story is from the day after that. I went to one of my friend's house and I told her all about this guy. So she wanted to like meet him. Also, this guy lived 2 hours away from me in a different state. Just wanted to throw that out there, that it's not like this guy was like in real life with me at any point, except for when we were in kindergarten together, obviously. So I went to my friend's house, I call him, and he goes, "Hey, I have a question for you. It's about like a girl thing." So he was like, "What happens when you have morning sickness?" I said, "Are you talking about like being pregnant?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Why are you asking me that?" I'm like, "I know that people like throw up sometimes and they get nauseous." And he goes, "Oh yeah, my ex was telling me that she's having morning sickness." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Why would that be happening?" Turns out on Tuesday, keep in mind, it's only Saturday. Tuesday, they had sex on Tuesday. So first of all, that was really dumb for him to think that she would possibly know if she was even pregnant by then. Like, if you did a simple Google search, you would know that somebody would not show symptoms that early. So then we kind of got into like an argument after that because that made me really upset. He told me that when he was with his ex that he liked me at the time and he was thinking about how he would rather be with me than her. So I don't know how he could have been thinking all that, but then he still did that stuff with this girl. Also, they did it twice in one day, he told me. He said they were careful. Bestie, I don't think you were if you really think that she could be pregnant. So that left a really good first impression on my friend who I was trying to introduce him to. He was claiming that he was having panic attacks, which I'm not gonna deny that he might have been having, obviously given the very chaotic situation. And he was like, "We weren't even dating, like what does it matter?" And I was like, do you have a brain? Like, why would you even think to just, at this point I felt like I was turning into his mother, like basically just like son, are you stupid? I guess you could say that that was wrong of me in some ways, that I was getting mad, but I was trying not to, but then he just kept saying things that were making the whole thing worse. And I was like, wow, for the first time, you know, somebody actually likes me back and all that. But no, look what he was doing on Tuesday. Well, he apparently liked me. So the next day I called him and I apologized for everything that I had done. And he had a friend over when we were on that call too. And his friend said that he thought that he shouldn't talk to me anymore. And he said that he was just confused and that he didn't want to talk to anybody for a while. So I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna give you some space. I'm not gonna like keep trying to talk to you. Whatever. So obviously at this point I was pretty upset. I was like, wow, I was this close and I screwed it up. In my mind, it was all my fault. So for like a week, he'd randomly texted me like a few times and that was about it. So then fast forward to the next weekend. Like all this stuff lasts in weeks if you haven't caught on to that yet. Like nothing in this whole thing is very long. It only took place over a time span of like 2 months of all this like in and out of a situationship, we'll call it. Still felt like really guilty about everything. But then he just texted me, it was like 1 a.m. He was like, so I've been thinking and I miss talking to you and all this stuff. I don't think I have any screenshots of that.
Nope, I don't, but I have in my brain that he said, I'm sorry it took so long for me to realize how great you are.
And I was like, what are you saying? And he was like, no, I really like you. And one thing he told me was that I was the most sane girl he had ever met and that all the other girls he had dated before were crazy and trying to make me feel like I was like special or different, which I didn't realize that was a big red flag at the time, that guys just do that, you know, obviously try to keep you like interested or whatever. I was like, okay, listen, he's made some mistakes. He's done some things that he shouldn't have, but you know, maybe he's ready to move forward and mature because everybody does dumb things at some point in their life. Like I was trying to be understanding for like the rest of the week. We pretty much called each other like every day. Oh yeah, also like nobody knew that I was talking to this guy except for my friends. Like my parents didn't know. I didn't know how I would explain that situation to my family, so I just didn't tell them. I was like gonna wait until we were like dating. So I just felt like I was on top of the world. I got it all together, you know. I'm gonna date this guy. Things are gonna go great. He was just saying all these things about me. He was calling me beautiful and just things that no other guy had said to me before. I mean, my first crush literally called me ugly to my face. So this was a big deal for me. So one afternoon we FaceTime each other and I cannot remember the things we talked about, but at that time I held on to a lot of that stuff for a long time. I was like, it just made me so happy, like that somebody thought of me the way that I thought he did. Great conversations. We talked about, you know, like the dates we were gonna go on and all that. Anyhow, then that night he texted me and I have all the screenshots, so I'll just read all those next.
I don't know if I could do this right now. I'm so sorry. I thought I could, and now I know you hate me and probably don't even want to be friends, and I'm so sorry. I wanted to wait till tomorrow so I could do it over the phone. I'm sorry, Stephanie. I want you to know it isn't you at all. It's me. It's my fault. I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. Question marks. I'm more mad at myself, but I know if we got into a relationship, it would probably be even worse. And even worse, whatever. OMG, what are you saying? I'm aware you hate me, but I'm sorry. I didn't hate you. I'm confused. What are you sorry about? What happened? I can't have a relationship right now or be talking right now at IDK if I ever would be able to. I'm sorry. I mean, I was just talking about dates and everything, and I thought we were going to make this work. I'm so confused. I'm so dumb. OMG. No, you're not. This isn't your fault. I promise. You're perfect. This is me. This is my fault. What is going on? I'm so confused. I don't think we should move forward as talking with a relationship in mind right now, if that makes sense. Why? OMG. I hope we can still be friends if you don't hate me. What happened? It's not on you at all. It's me. I'm not ready. Why? OML, I'm telling the truth. I'm not ready. Okay. Stephanie, you're perfect. Like, really perfect. You're amazing. It's not you. I promise. I swear. Okay, but my feelings aren't gonna change, so, like, IDK, what to even do? Like, this is different from our conversation earlier. I'm sorry. I thought I was ready. No, that's understandable. Just because I'm ready doesn't mean you are. I'm sorry.
If there's anything I've learned from this, it's that one of the biggest lies is, I'm not ready for a relationship. I was like, oh my gosh, he's probably leaving for some other girl. But he kept saying that he wasn't, as you saw. But he still kept insisting that he wanted to be friends with me. Why is he trying to, like, keep me close, essentially, but not, like, that close. So then for like the next week, we barely even texted. I was really scared too for some reason. He was just giving me like really short responses and stuff. So at this point, I was starting to let it go. I was starting to move on. I was already thinking about moving on forward with my life and being single. So then at the end of this week, he's like, hey, I have to tell you something. And I was like, yeah. He was like, so I might have lied when I told you that I wasn't ready for a relationship. After I read that, I just started shaking. I was like, oh no, my fears, my doubts, all that, they were right. And he goes, it wasn't that I wasn't ready for a relationship. He was like, I was getting myself into something toxic with someone else. And at that point, I was really upset, but I was trying to be nice. I don't know why I was so nice to this kid. And I was just like offering him like advice, like just about like life stuff. I don't know. I was trying to be like encouraging that he can stop doing bad things like that. But obviously I should have known at that point that he wasn't for me. He called me and he had this whole apology, and then he was saying that he wished we could go back to talking like we used to, but he knew that we weren't going to, and that if somebody did to him what he did to me, that he would never want to talk to them again. I was very honest with him about how I felt about the whole thing and how upset he made me. And then he kept trying to like be flirty again. And then I was like, oh no. And then I already, and you know, obviously my feelings didn't like disappear. Unfortunately, they should have. Why is my light flickering? Hello. I came right out and I said, what is drawing you into these toxic relationships? Like, if you want to fix the problem, you gotta know what's causing it. And he said, meaningless sex, if I'm being honest. And I just started to get really upset again, because obviously I don't want to be used for that in a relationship. And then I basically became a salesperson, and I was like, hey, why would you want that when you can have a meaningful relationship with somebody and have deep conversations and like all this stuff, you know? I was like, yeah, you need to figure this out. I said, listen, I know you want to talk right now, because he like said that he wanted to start like talking again, like, but I cannot do that if you are at this point. If you are just horny and that's your motive, then we cannot talk. Obviously, because of my personal values and stuff, I would not do any of that before marriage. So when you're not even dating the guy and he's bringing this stuff up, it gets a little like concerning. Why didn't I leave at this point? Every point I get to, I'm like, how come I never left there? How come I never left there? It's just, Stephanie, why did you do that? So a few days later, he was like, I've been thinking about what you said. And he was like basically trying to prove that he like matured in a way. And I was like, dude, it's only been a few days. Like this guy's concept of time was absolutely horrendous. Like, he would act like a few days was like a few weeks. It would be like a week, and he would act like it was like months. Like, dude, it hasn't been that long, really.
One of the things he said was like, if you like me now, then why wouldn't we just start talking now?
He pretty much manipulated me once again. And then one night we had started talking again. In the first few days, things were going really good. And I was like, okay, this is the person deep down that I knew was in there. It absolutely was not, but that's what I was thinking. I was like, I knew he could be a great guy. And then he started acting really weird. And then he started talking about his past relationships and some sexual stuff. I made it very clear that I did not want to do that stuff.
Who talks about those experiences from past relationships to somebody that you're trying to get into a relationship with? How dumb are you? And how dumb was I for going along with it?
At this point, we were only texting. We were not FaceTiming anymore because he said that he couldn't. And it got really annoying to me that we were only texting, and then he would keep bringing up this stuff. And I was like, okay, if we were actually like talking to each other in a call, like this wouldn't be happening. He wouldn't be saying this stuff. But obviously I've had a few situations in my life where I'm like, oh, this person's only acting weird over text. But then it happens in real life too. But after I've seen that pattern a few times, I know what happens now. Honestly, at this point, the only thing that would have absolutely 100% kept away from him is if he like asked me for like nudes or something. I almost wish he did, because then I would have absolutely ended it. Like, that would have been it for me. That is one big thing with me. Like, if somebody is going to ask for that, absolutely not. I draw a line right there. I'm really happy that I never met up with him in real life because I have no idea what would have happened, what he would have tried to do. It kind of makes me wonder what he may have forced on other people in his past relationships. Oh, also, he was a year younger than me. So I was 17, almost 18 at the time, and he was like 16, almost 17. Our birthdays were only a few days apart. He kept bringing up this stuff, and I'm like, dude, like, I haven't even had my first kiss, so I've never held hands with somebody except for you at the playground in kindergarten. I don't know what's with all these peace signs. But yeah, basically, I made it very clear that I was innocent and I wanted to stay innocent. So then to draw the attention away from that, I kept mentioning, okay, this date, we are planning this date. So we had talked about a few different things and I kept asking him over and over again. And he was like, oh yeah, we could do this, we can meet here. I'm like, okay, good.
So at this point, I did tell my parents that I was talking to him and that we were going to go on a date. So they did know, but they didn't know like the whole backstory that led up to this. They still don't. They probably won't unless they watch this video.
But after I kept pushing it and nothing was happening, I got the feeling that it was just never going to happen at all. So one day in the morning, I sent him a text about it, and then I did not open it until later that night. And here are the screenshots from all of that.
Okay, so I have bad news. I'm sorry, but like no one will drive me. And I assume your parents want to drive you to location. Plus, we barely text anymore, so IDK, what to do now, TBH. Like now. Left and deliver all day feels so good, LOL. Sorry, I wasn't home, LMAO. Okay, hold on. Nah, never mind, forget it. What? Sorry, I'm just trying to find a second to text. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to really read what you said. Okay. Can I specifically ask why no one will drive you, though? 'Cause no one will.
I am 99.9% sure that he was talking to somebody else because there was a situation with this girl who he had got into the toxic thing with. No, this isn't even the girl he left me for. This was when I was trying to get him to stop like being toxic and like giving him advice. This was a situation that happened during that, was this girl. There were so many girls involved in this. There's like 4, 5 including me. I don't know, a lot. He was like, hey, I'm gonna block you. Like, I don't want to talk to you after everything that happened. And then he was like, and then she was like, oh, so you're not allowed to have female friends. And she's so overprotective or something. And that's not what it was. I do not care if the person I am dating has female friends, okay? I have some guy friends. It's like, that doesn't bother me. It was just the situation. He got into something toxic and I didn't even know what that toxic was. It's like, okay, did you like almost date this girl? Did you do some more stuff with her? Like, I don't really know what that means. You can't be friends with somebody after that happens, in my opinion, most of the time. You just can't. So then I called him because I wanted to apologize. Again, me always apologizing after, you know, everything that happened and we ended because he was getting really like mad or like annoyed. I don't even know what. And he said that he felt like that I just let him on for nothing, which he was the one who said he didn't want to continue on to a relationship in the first place. So he's just trying to pin the blame on me for the entire thing, basically. I just remember, like, I said bye, he said bye, and then like on Snapchat, I just saw his thing like disappear because he immediately had blocked me. And then he was trying to contact me through Instagram for the next like 2 weeks.
He kept saying that he missed talking to me, but then he was like, I don't know if I can do long distance. And that was a big thing that I forgot to mention. Like, every time we had a little, like, conflict or whatever, he was like, I don't know if long distance will work. Like, it really wasn't that long distance, but whatever.
After I had that final, like, phone call with him, I, like, cried for, like, 2 days straight. Breakup of a situationship. I went extreme with my emotions there. It was my birthday like the next week after I sent that last text to him, so like it was a okay birthday, but honestly like he kind of killed the vibe. And then a few days later on his birthday, I got the notification that he added me on Snapchat, which I did not add him back, but I was like, what does he want now? After he added me on Snapchat, then I sent this big final text to him because I was absolutely done. And then at this point forward, I blocked him.
You told me to let you know if I was done. So here you go. I'm done. Please move on. If you haven't yet already. I'm not down for a toxic on and off relationship. I can't see us together in the future. The one for me is going to see my worth the first time around. You said that I just led you on, which isn't true. I wanted to make things work and you made me feel like the end was my fault. I don't want to be manipulated. I should never have to tell a guy how I deserve to be treated. I need someone who is ready to commit and won't get bored in a healthy relationship. Bye.
And it was completely over. until I got my friends involved. So in December, I kept doing Zoom calls with my friends and we would do like different fun random things. So we decided to do a prank call night. So I gave my friends his phone number. We created like a fake account, or did we do like the *67? I don't know. We did something. Basically pranked him, and then one of the things he had said was that he had 9 or 10, like he had dated like 9 or 10 girls, but he couldn't remember. And then he was like going through a list of all their names and all that. And here are the real live recordings that I took during this call.
I've used some weird porn. I've used some weird porn that's not. But never have I given my phone number, my real phone number out. I don't know. Oh God, I don't know. What's her name? The long distance chick. You dated a long? No, well, I mean, dated, like, I don't know, we were definitely talking. Stephanie. Yeah, Stephanie. Is this Stephanie?
No.
So is this Stephanie? Yeah, I don't know.
This is a prank, and I can't believe Stephanie ever liked you. Bye.
So at this point, I was like 100% completely done with him. Before that, I was like at a good 99.9%. But this was like the last thing for me. So it ultimately created closure, the closure I was looking for. Because, you know, when you almost get into a relationship with somebody and then you don't, you always think about, oh, what if, you know? Because there's not always a direct reason why, especially with how it ended. Especially because he never told me a direct reason why. He just like, I think it won't work, even though I'm pretty sure it was about some other girl. So yeah, that is the story time of how I got played twice. I know I only know that I officially got played once, but I'm pretty sure I got played that other time too. So, well, I'm just gonna say that I got played twice, just for extra dramatic effect. So let me know if you like enjoyed this story time, because I have plenty that I could do, so I was thinking of doing more like that. Just comment down below and give me some other ideas as I explore and make different kinds of content. And if you are not subscribed, excuse me, please subscribe. And I will see you all next time. Bye!